coming at you from the Hey Yo Studios. It's the Fade Route with D and Z. Here are your hosts, D and Z.
Coming at you live from the Ayo Studio.
Ayo.
It's the Fade Route with D and Z. I am D. We got a great show for you tonight. We're going to discuss who we think will be going in the top 5 of the NBA draft. Draymond Green is opting out of his contract with the Warriors. And we're going to order up the best third baseman in Major League Baseball. But we start today's show with another NBA trade. The Suns are sending Chris Paul, Landry Shamet, and a package of second-round picks to the Wizards for Beal and Isaiah Todd, your old roommate. Z, I mean, does this trade even matter?
Well, let's be real here. What do the Phoenix Suns actually need? Did they need another prolific scorer? No. Did they need another player who's often injured? Also no. So I don't see how this is a good long-term move for the Phoenix Suns. Not to mention for the fact that there are only 5 players under contract. You now have Durant, Beal, Booker, Campaign, and Ayton, whom you're trying to move. This is very quickly going to become a situation like the LeBron Lakers or the LeBron Heat, where you're just gonna beg, borrow, and steal veteran mid-level exceptions, veterans minimums, and try and piece together a squad to get you through the regular season, let alone the playoffs. We're not even talking about the playoffs yet.
Playoffs?
Right?
Playoffs?
We got to put a roster together. Forget playoffs. Can we talk about signing 10 more guys?
If someone misses a shot today, who's going to go up and get the rebound?
That's your question. You know, it's DeAndre Ayton as of right now, but they want him at a Dodge too. So where does he end up? Now, Washington, it seems like this is a way station. It's really all it is. The new GM Winger, his past organizations included the Los Angeles Clippers, and Chris Paul is heavily tied to the Los Angeles Clippers. Rumor has it that the Los Angeles Lakers would also be interested in his services, and who knows what package would go back in the other direction. But the Wizards have been a laughingstock for a while now, right? They keep rearranging the deck chairs on this team, whether it was Porzingis, whether it was Westbrook, whether it was Kuzma, who is testing the free agent waters now. They've just been rotating guys in around Bradley Beal. Maybe this time it's different. Maybe from the standpoint that Bradley Beal is the guy who's out. Everybody else was the guy that they tried to pencil in to play with Beal. Mm-hmm. Maybe they finally realized that Beal was the major issue, right? Because they didn't win. What they win with John Wall and Bradley Beal? Ugats is what they won with John Wall and Bradley Beal. Mm-hmm. So they got John Wall out eventually. Now Beal is gone. Tear it down. Let Porzingis go. Let Kuzma go. Ship Chris Paul off.
Oh, just cut it.
And tear it down. Tear it down and rebuild it. Tear it down and rebuild it. It matters. It matters to the Wizards from the standpoint of tearing it down and rebuilding completely from the studs. From the studs. The Suns, it's nice to have all that scoring. It really is. That's lovely. But you need more than just scoring. You need to be able to stop the other team. You need to be able to rebound. You already intimated that. Who was going up for the rebound? Who was the defensive stopper on this team? Lighting guys up in the regular season works. But you're not lighting up Jokic. You're not lighting up Jamal Murray. You're not lighting up Aaron Gordon. That's not how this is going to happen. You need to have depth, and you need to be a complete team. And this trade just further pushed you to the edge in terms of being a one-dimensional offensive team. Not to mention that you hired Frank Vogel. How does he fit into this? How does his style fit into this? It just seems like Matt Ishbia is just trying to be splashy for the sake of being splashy and not thinking about the construction of his team. We call that a Jimmy Haslam. We'll see if it plays out. I mean, they're going to be good just on the strength of talent, right? The talent, if they are healthy, is going to carry them. But when they get into deep water, I don't think they've got what it takes.
Z, I have to imagine that this is part of a bigger plan. You'd have to imagine that they're going to also move Ayton, right?
Yeah.
Because what they've just done is they've just gotten small, and they don't have any depth now. In the future, they're giving up second-round picks. Like you said, you got to be able to beat the Joker. So how are you going to beat Joker? The only good thing about Beal is he's 29 years old, right? Mm-hmm. But then you have Durant, who's 34. He's been getting hurt a lot. They need a guard. They need a guard to distribute the basketball, in my opinion. Kendrick Perkins went on the air yesterday and deemed the Suns the best team in the league. I don't know. That's a little heavy for me. Now, do they get into, we're going to touch on this next, but do they get into the Draymond Green sweepstakes? That could be something. Do they go and try to get a Dame Lillard with the draft coming up on Thursday? All right, that's something. I'll argue a little bit against your Frank Vogel comment. I actually think he's a decent coach. I mean, what he did with the Pacers, I know they didn't win, but they were going up against LeBron. What he was able to do with Hibbert and George, and that team was pretty impressive. And then he did win the championship with the Lakers, albeit the bubble, but he did win with them. He knows what to do with big men. So if they do keep Ayton, I would think he's going to be an integral part of their offense. But to answer the original question, I don't think this trade, like you said, matters to the Wizards because it's over. The Bradley Beal, John Wall experiment, it's all over. It didn't work. They didn't win. Beal is not your best player, not your second best player. He's really your third best player, right? That's how I would think he's a shooter. He's your Ray Allen. He's a poor man's Ray Allen, I guess, to some retrospect. So for him, I don't think much changes. Shoot the ball. How is this? How are they going to play together? Devin Booker, how does he fit into this? So I think there's a lot of questions to be answered, and I'm assuming within this week we should figure out what's going on with Ayton.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely. I would figure they're working the clock, they're working the phones, trying to get him gone by draft day. That would make sense to me, but I don't know. I really don't know. You're going to get 10 cents on the dollar on him. He hasn't.
Maybe, but if you're the Blazers, you get a big man to team with Lillard if you plan on keeping Lillard. If you're planning on starting over, you get rid of Lillard, you bring in Ayton. You've got a big guy to you have to have somebody big to compete against the Joker, man.
You do, but at the same time, Nobody's going to be able to do that. Nobody can match it. It doesn't matter.
Nobody can do that.
Nobody can do that. No one has demonstrated that they can do that. So it's got to be a scheme. You have to coach it. You have to have multiple guys. Miami at least figured it out in a short burst, but one guy is not. He's not going to be the Jokic stopper. Right? That guy doesn't exist.
True.
Right. So it's a question of putting a complementary team together around a guy like Ayton. You know, like if the Pelicans were willing to keep Zion Williamson and somehow Zion could stay healthy,
yeah,
you pair Zion with Ayton down low, and you might have something there. But that's a major if.
It's a big if. Or, you know, what sounds like in New Orleans is he's kind of checked out. He's immature and he's not willing to, you know, get on a strict diet and do the proper exercise. He's pretty much taken all the money that they've given him and that this is who he's going to be. So, I mean, it's unfortunate, but that happens sometimes.
Yeah, no, he definitely does. So, like, you know, at that point, maybe Ayton and a Bam Adebayo in Miami. Maybe that becomes a good low block.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe that injects some life. And you move in Ayton and you move in Lillard. Now, all of a sudden, Miami is a force to be reckoned with at the top of the Eastern Conference.
Possibly. I mean, Ayton seems to me like a small market kind of guy. He's a pacer. He's a piston.
He's a wizard.
He's a wizard. But sticking with the NBA, Draymond Green opted out of his contract with the Golden State Warriors yesterday by turning down a $27.6 million option, which will make Green a free agent if they're not able to agree to a new deal. Big deal, little deal, no deal.
Well, it's a big deal from the standpoint that this is going to accelerate the decline of the Golden State Warriors.
Yeah.
Because Draymond Green was their heartbeat. You know, you have Steph and Clay. Steph and Clay were the talent. Like, they were the engine. Like, they made things go. But you couldn't have done that without Draymond Green doing the dirty work. Right? He was the soul of that team. He was like, you know, he would be akin to like a Charles Oakley type, right? He's the guy that you want in there kind of mucking things up and doing the heavy lifting so that your star player doesn't have to engage in stuff like that. So he played a very critical role. Who is that? Who's going to replace that on the Warriors team? I don't know. I don't see it. But Clay isn't getting any younger. Steph isn't getting any younger. Jordan Poole did not show you anything great. You have a new GM. He's going to want to put his stamp on this team. He's already started, right? Dunleavy is going to accelerate this. He's going to remake this team because they know that the window's closed.
I think he said all the right things. I think he was smart to say, "Oh, we're going to try to bring Draymond back." I think that was a smart thing to say.
Well, of course you're going to say that. You know, you have no leverage otherwise. But if you're looking at it from a Draymond Green standpoint, could he possibly get more money? Maybe for a desperate team. I think he might be able to get a little bit more than what he was going to get. The $27.5 million is not chump change. So, you know, who needs a defensive stopper? Who needs somebody who's going to get in there and, you know, muck it up a la a Charles Oakley or a Dennis Rodman or an Anthony Mason? You already mentioned the Phoenix Suns. The Phoenix Suns need somebody with aggression. They need somebody with actual, like, effort in terms of defense and rebounding. Because that's defense and rebounding. It's about effort. You need to give effort. You need to try on that side of the ball. You can't just be ole. What is this ole bullshit?
Ole.
So That would be if Phoenix can afford him. That's the question. If Phoenix can afford him, that would be a fine addition. The Lakers, always an option. Just because, LeBron admires Draymond from afar. And LeBron tends to get what he wants. So it would be actually funny if you have LeBron, AD, the Nut Puncher, and Draymond on the same team next year. Like, that could be very interesting. Go east to Miami. Like we mentioned trading for Ayton. Just go sign Draymond Green. You have Lowry, Butler, Adebayo, Draymond Green. That's not bad. That's actually pretty decent. He could revitalize the Celtics. Like, the Celtics need grit, right? And he could definitely. Draymond Green will find a home. His skill set is such that he will find a home.
What's he worth to you, Z? What's he worth to you, Z?
That's the question.
He's looking for, I think, $100 million contract. The guy averaging a triple single.
It depends on the term of the deal. I think if you can get him, because he's not 30 yet. I believe he's 29. So maybe, 24 for 25 is going to be, it's $25 million AAV. That's going to be hard to stomach.
He's 33 years old.
He's 33. Okay, so that already takes a 5-year deal off. If I'm a realistic GM, I would do 3 for 75 with the option for a fourth.
4-time NBA champion.
Yeah, but he's also 33, like you said, and you're playing a physical style. Your body will start to break down. I think 3 would be
Can't really shoot.
Never could, but that's not what you're paying him for. That's not what you're paying him for. If Draymond Green is going to be your number one scorer, you are screwed. Like, let's be real here. Like, you're paying him. Like, Dennis Rodman carved out a really good, lucrative career, right? Being a defensive player. Joakim Noah had a very lucrative career. Didn't really have much of an offensive game. He was okay, nothing great. But, I think you could probably carve out. I could stomach 3 for 75 with an option for a fourth year, depending on how things go.
Yeah, I'm more bullish on Draymond than I think almost everybody else is. I think his value is in the system that he plays in. I don't think he's a guy that could just go to any team and all of a sudden that team is going to be, like, extremely good. So, like, in a situation where he would go to Phoenix, I think Phoenix could definitely use him. I think the Lakers could use him. I don't know how he'd work out in Miami. I don't know how he'd work out in Dallas. These are just some of the teams that are interested in him. I don't know how he'd work out in New York. I don't know how that would be. The thing about him is, he was on a team that didn't need him to score. He's likely going to places that are going to need contributions from him. And I don't know if he can provide what teams need. I don't really know. I don't know what his value is, but $100 million, I don't know, man. On a 33-year-old guy.
What about Philly?
Yeah. I don't know. I don't think so. No, I don't think it works there. Boston, again, they're getting the same players. They need like a guard or a center. I don't think him playing forward is going to help them. And I think Draymond's a good player. I don't think he's a great player. I think he's a good player. But his contributions are really based on the offense that you're running and what you're doing. I don't think it's something that's like, okay, Draymond's here, we're already going to be we're going to the Eastern Conference Finals. I don't think it works like that. Do you disagree?
I think he fits a system, and I think in the right system he'll thrive. Now,
like, if he goes to Boston, are you penciling Boston into the Eastern Conference Finals?
No.
Okay. If he
No,
goes to the Lakers, are you going to pencil them into the Eastern Conference Finals?
The Lakers.
You got to understand what the dynamics of that team are. I mean, Anthony Davis is going to get hurt. LeBron's probably going to miss time.
Yeah.
You going to pencil them into the Eastern Conference Finals? Probably not.
6 seed. He goes to that team. They're 6 seed. They are where the Warriors were.
He goes to the Suns. Are you going to pencil them into the Eastern Conference Finals?
They would. I would say that in the West, if they're going to add Draymond Green, that team is going to get the most boost from having Draymond Green on that team because they play no defense. None. They don't rebound. Like he will do that. So like he will give in the Western Conference the most juice coming out of Draymond Green is going to be if he goes to Phoenix. In the East, I think it takes a Jimmy Butler. It gives Bam Adebayo somebody else to work the low block with. I think those teams benefit the most from a Draymond Green sign.
Avoid messy accidents. Get better stopping power with your brake pads. Callahan brake pads. You never know when you'll be driving in the road and there will be a truck tire that you need to avoid and save your family. Callahan Auto. We really care about what's under your hood.
But, I mean, we're going to see what happens because, we still have the draft coming up. So trades can be made. Picks are going to happen. People's lives are going to change this Thursday. The NBA draft is Thursday night, and everyone is pretty sure Victor Wembanyama is all but going to San Antonio at number 1. Who's your top 5? And is there a Jokic-type player that could be taken later in the second round or a Kawhi-type player who could be taken outside the top 10 that will make an impact?
That's a very good question. So let me start with who I've got going in the top 5. All right. So, yeah, number 1, I don't think anybody's passing on Victor Wembanyama, right? I mean, there's no reports that indicate that the Spurs are going to, go off script and think that a Scoot Henderson or a Brandon Miller is going to light the world on fire. And that makes sense. I can get on board with what they're doing. I was trying to play devil's advocate, and say, he could fail, but you'd rather take him and fail with him than see what life is like not taking him, right?
Yeah.
Number 2, I've got Scoot Henderson. He's worked his ass off in the G League. I got him going to Charlotte to get to this point, and this is exactly the player that they need. He's a real adult who's hungry, wants to make an impact on an NBA team. You can't ask for more than Scoot Henderson here. At number 3, I've got Brandon Miller. If I was drafting, this is the guy I would have taken number 1. I take a chance. He's a 6'9" guard. Put Alabama basketball on the map, man. And that's an SEC football school. So he has a chance to become what Andre Barrett should have been. Next, I've got at 4. I got the Houston Rockets making a trade. I've got them trading the number 4 pick and Jalen Green for Zion Williamson to the Pelicans.
Whoa.
That's what I got. Because you bring in Zion, you go and you sign James Harden. You got James Harden and Zion Williamson. Let's go. That's what I think they should do. That's what I think they're going to do. And then I think they go ahead and they go get Jarace Walker, 6'8" forward out of Houston. And they hope they can the Pelicans hope that they can turn him into an Anthony Davis, and they prepare to build around him in the next couple of seasons. That's what I got going on at 4, Z. And then at 5, I've got a boring pick for the Pistons. I got a Cam Whitmore coming out of Villanova. I think they look to pair him with Cade Cunningham. They have a nice little 2-guard thing that that the Wizards did for a couple years.
Look how much they benefited from the 2-guard system.
Yeah.
So,
and then a guy that I think that could fall, that I think could be of value is, I do think this Trace Walker guy is good. I think he's good. I think Keontae George out of Baylor, freshman. I think he could play. I think he's a good player. And then if you're gonna go to the second round, second round is hard. It's hard. You can get on board with an Amari Bailey. I like in guards. I like guard play. He's 6'5", 185 pounds. Put some weight on him. I think he'd be a really good guard. Yeah, that's where I am. Where are you?
Well, as far as second round steals, I mean, Andre Jackson from UConn.
Yeah.
I don't bet against UConn.
6'6", 210 junior.
Yeah.
Experience.
Champion. Exactly. So, like, for me, like, I see him as kind of a dark horse. I mean, you have a guy like Oscar Tshwebe out of Kentucky, 23-year-old senior, 6'9", 260. Like, he was highly regarded and just kind of is, like, laying in the weeds and kind of floating. We'll see what he becomes, but he could be a big, he could be a big impact big man. And then Olivier Maxence Prosper out of Marquette, his stock is rising, so he could very well end up in the first round. But it's going to be, I mean, Wembanyama is pretty much guaranteed to go number one. I mean, the reputation that the Spurs have, particularly in France, drafting international players, there's plenty of cachet there. And I think that Wembanyama is going to go to San Antonio. This is not the overnight turnaround that people are expecting. Now, when they drafted Tim Duncan number one, that team was ready to go. They tanked for Tim Duncan. That team was pretty decent, and they chose to suck to get Tim Duncan. This team, the team that Wembanyama is going to, ain't that team. David Robinson is not there. Avery Johnson is not there. Sean Elliott is not there. Like, those guys are not there. Charlotte, number two. This is a team, right? New owner. We're going to get to that later. Are you going to pick a guy to pair with LaMelo Ball? Like, what are you going to do? I think it's going to be Scoot Henderson at number two, but I don't know if it's going to be Charlotte, though. I can easily see New Orleans getting in there. You had him going to Houston. I could see New Orleans dealing Zion for the number two pick and taking Scoot Henderson. I can definitely see that happening because it's kind of a homecoming for Zion, correct? He's from South Carolina. He went to school at Duke. Duke is in North Carolina. Charlotte's in North Carolina. But it seems to be a pretty good spot for Mr. Williamson. So I can definitely see Charlotte getting into that. Now, what does Portland do, right? Do they keep three and try and keep Lillard happy? Do they trade three and try and build up assets? Do they trade Lillard and get another pick later on in this? It's interesting, right? There's a lot of ways that Portland can play this. I'm going to play it from the standpoint that they're going to draft a guy that another team may want. And that other team, that player is Brandon Miller. Right? Brandon Miller, clearly the best college player. Character issues aside, right? We understand the issue regarding the murder We understand what went on, the investigation that took place. There's a lot of question marks there. Now, apparently, NBA executives are satisfied. They're satisfied with what they've been hearing from both the investigation and from Miller himself. So you have to take them at their word that they don't see any red flags moving forward. Now, best player available, yeah, you take him. But if something becomes available down the line, maybe you trade the draft rights. Remember, Kobe Bryant was traded. Remember that, boys and girls. Kobe Bryant was a Charlotte Hornet for all about an hour and a half. So let's not forget that. Number 4, Houston. It's a bold strategy, right? You said James Harden, Zion Williamson.
Bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see how it works out for him.
10th place. I'll give you that right there. There's not a lot of talent on that team. I don't know. I see them taking one of the Thompson twins. I'm gonna go with Amen Thompson.
Yeah.
Amen Thompson. He's a solid player. He's 20. He's he's 6'7", 202. He's got the size, got the body. I think he'll fit in. If you bring in Harden, that will definitely kind of impact things and change the trajectory of the organization. You suddenly go from, we're building to we're winning now, right? Because James Harden's not coming in and then he's going to sit for a year while the kids develop. That's not what's happening here. And the other Thompson twin, right? Asar, I have him going at 5 to the Detroit Pistons. At this point, best player available. Detroit needs so much that you could take you have so many different guys, right? You take Whitmore, you can take Walker, you could take Grady Dick. You can have a Dick in the Motor City. You could take Anthony Black. You could, you're so limited in terms of talent that you can take anybody, right? The Pistons are to basketball what the Raiders are to football. They need so much, and they're a complete wild card. Obviously, Taylor's thinking, I don't know what the hell he's thinking. So I think that's something that could very well happen. Now, we both have top 5 trades. Do you see anybody else moving? Do you see any major established players? I hesitate to say superstars, but do you see any established players moving in on draft day?
Jaylen Brown would be an interesting one. LeBron James would be an interesting one too. Jordan Poole, maybe. Jordan Poole. Yeah, I think the Warriors have to figure out what they're going to do with his salary, because I think that's a bad contract. I think they've got to try to get away from him and get away from that situation. Dame Lillard, I gotta imagine that's a possibility. You want to see people who are trying to shed some salary. I just don't know what the backup plan for that would be, though. That's the only reason why I'm not sure he'll leave. Because what's the backup plan if he goes?
I don't know. The rumor either Julius Randle or Obi Toppin are on the. Obi hasn't really gotten much burn here in New York, but it's kind of like, you kind of want something for him,
Mm-hmm.
He was a first round pick, so you might be able to get something.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like in the Zion Williamson kind of thing, like change of scenery will do him good. I mean, it's worth a flyer, and there are plenty of teams out there that can have them.
It's that damn Tibbs system, I mean, I felt like he played well when he came off the bench in the playoffs. He definitely has talent. The talent is there. He's just got to get opportunity.
Right. Absolutely. And you know what? A team like Orlando, a team like Indiana, like they're at the top of the draft So send him there. That will provide him with an opportunity. Well, you can send him to Memphis. Memphis has some opportunity now for 25 games, right? The NBA
You gotta really.
headlines.
The NBA is dominating today's
It's
headlines.
crazy.
You gotta imagine Dallas has kind of got to make a splash too, right? I mean, they pretty much made sure they lost that game so that they could get this top 10 pick. So I wonder if they're gonna make a splash or if they're gonna try to trade the pick.
Maybe they try and trade up.
Yeah, maybe. I think they're probably eyeing the Duke center, Derek Levi or Lively, 7'2", 215. I mean, it's hard to find players that could play well with Luka, though. I don't know how that dynamic works because he's so ball dominant.
True, and then you go around about Kyrie going to sign and trade in Phoenix. So having the Maverick negotiate and get something for it.
I don't see why that makes any sense, but like you said, the NBA is dominating headlines today. Definitely want to jump into this topic because I know you were not so happy with the penalty here. Memphis Grizzlies guard Ja Morant was suspended 25 games by Commissioner Adam Silver on Friday. Was the suspension excessive, not enough, or just right?
Association indicated that this was a severe punishment. And
severe.
Job.
Like a severe thunderstorm.
Absolutely. That's their job, to advocate for their client, right? To advocate for their brethren. Over looking out for the public relations of the league. You cannot have the perception that you are going backwards. All those years ago, Gilbert Arenas brought a gun and forever how view like gun safety, right? That's important, but also like how these interactions take place in the NBA. It's definitely marred the sport to the point. Definitely need to take this into account. Definitely take this into consideration. At the arena, it happened on Instagram Live. So just because it did not happen in the arena doesn't mean that Morant was off duty, so to speak, right? When you're you're always on, whether you like it or not. It's part of the role. It's part of the role that you play. And you cannot be that big of a public relations disaster coming off of the first suspension where you said, okay, I'll never do it again. I'm working on my mental health, stress management. Oh, look, a gun. Let me point that again. Let me look at this again. He took his thumb and he thumbed his nose at Adam Silver. And if I'm Adam Silver, I'm taking that personally. You lied to me. You made me look like a jackass. I defended you, and this is what you did. So, 25 in my... You already... It should have been half a season. Just from the simple fact you cannot have this going on with a supposed star. An alleged superstar. 100% an alleged superstar at this point. You need to be firm on these. You need to send a message that regardless of your stature in the league. And it's a huge missed opportunity, and he will absolutely do it again. Absolutely will do it again. Because he has demonstrated that he will do it again. He's done once before. What's going to happen?
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was. I think it's fair. It's basically a third of the season. Listen, he's 23 years old. Yes, I think I 100% agree. He shouldn't have done it. It's bad character. It was a very, very dumb move, and some of the excuses that I'm hearing that the gun wasn't real and all this other nonsense. It's not a good look. Half the season's a little crazy. I think it's a lot. Especially, I mean, he legally owns the gun. He shouldn't be brandishing firearms, but I don't know if there's anything in the CBA about this stuff. And he shouldn't do it. I mean, it's the bottom line. You shouldn't do it. It's bad that you did it. You didn't get the 8-game suspension the first time, so now you're getting 25. I hope you learned your lesson. I am trying to give him the benefit of the doubt. I think this is the last time. I think he's learned his lesson. I wouldn't be surprised if he's moved out of Memphis after this year if he doesn't get his act together. But I thought 25 was fine. Imagine if they did something where they got to choose which 25 games he was suspended, right? That'd be interesting, right? So you're not suiting up today. You're not suiting up today. Oh, okay.
What games are they gonna? Oh, you're not gonna play against the Jazz. Okay. You're not gonna play against the Pistons. Again? Oh no, you're definitely not gonna play against. You're not gonna play against the Orlando Magic. But nope, you're gonna suit up on Christmas Day. You're gonna suit up for the Laker game. You're gonna, that's what's gonna happen. But this is because this gutless administrator and
the league, or you're saying the league? You're saying the league, or you're saying the Grizzlies?
I'm saying the league. The Grizzlies suspended him indefinitely. The Grizzlies put their foot down. Adam Silver.
Woo! Get him.
And then he gave a cliffhanger. I don't want to upstage the NBA Finals with Ja Morant's suspension. He's going to put a pin in that. Tune in next week. Gutless. Absolutely gutless. And Stern would come from the dead, drop dead, and roll over in his grave. What Adam did in that scenario. It just showed a lack of leadership, and it showed a lack of regard for the league. To be every player's friend. They'll screw you over every time. Don't do that.
Mm-hmm.
All been in management. Don't try and befriend the rank and file. Step outside of your safe area and make a statement without saying much with FCK Clout Lifestyle Apparel. Embrace the colorful chaos and stay emotionally regulated in their hoodies, snapbacks, graphic tees, accessories, and more. Season 3 merch is up now. Get it while you can. Go to fckclout.com and get all of your needs from men and women. That's fckclout.com.
We've got another fun topic for you. I know you're excited about this one as well. The men's USA soccer team beat Canada to win the CONCACAF on Sunday night. How important was this win for men's soccer?
You ready for this? Actually, not very important at all. Coming back to the team. Who's coming back to coach the U.S. men's national team? Triple G is back. Greg Berhalter is back. And the same lackluster play that plagued this team prior to Berhalter in the whole Gio Reyna, Claudio Reyna scenario, that's going to come back. The style is not exciting. The style just doesn't for this group of players, because they demonstrated that they are quite talented. Like, when they're put in an area, if they're put in a system to their strengths. Gio, very talented. Pulisic, you wouldn't know it from Chelsea, but he actually is pretty good. He's pretty good. You have Balogun, right? He's been in England, but he has American citizenship. He scored in the 4th minute. You have some guys. You actually have a number 9 now. So this team, once you get Adams back, McKinney comes off his red card, Dest comes off his red card, you have the makings of something good, right? And this coach, the coach that was the caretaker, he injected some life. And we're just going to gone back to Greg and that boring slog style. And let's not forget to mention, I should say, is he holding a grudge against Gio Reyna from what happened in the World Cup? Because that sounds like a bad idea. That really sounds like a bad idea. Because this is like, you have to iron out that particular conflict. I know that several players are pro Greg Berhalter. I understand that. But one of your most prolific players was embroiled in a major scandal involving this guy. So you need to tread lightly here. But in terms of quality of play and in terms of style of play, I think this is amazing. And we're going to look back on this CONCACAF Nations League. What you think fondly on it, because we're not going to see style of play ever again.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I guess I looked at it a little differently in the fact that, yeah, they won, but when you look at the numbers, how they won wasn't very impressive. Canada dominated time possession, and U.S. passing was awful. I'm not saying they got lucky, but I think what's more important than this victory is the fact that since I think we're the host country in 2026, I believe we get an automatic bid, right? I think the U.S. gets an automatic bid into the World Cup. I think that is the most important thing, because that's going to make U.S. soccer relevant. That's going to make people watch it, and that's what's going to make people care about it. Not being in the World Cup is just like a punch in the stomach. So the fact that they're going to be in it, I think that's more important than this victory, especially the way they played.
Well, U.S., Canada, and Mexico all get the automatic bid because they are co-hosting.
Yeah, that's good though.
North America.
Well, it's good. It's good for the U.S. I think Canada girls soccer team's pretty good up there.
Canada has plenty of MLS guys out there. You know, Alphonso Davies, Alistair Johnston. You have Kamal Miller. You have players on this team with significant MLS experience, international experience. So, you know, it's not going to be. I mean, it wasn't as sexy as U.S. Mexico.
No,
as violent. That's Mexico. You know, but just straight up, like Weston McKennie got his nipple twisted on national television. So, yeah, and the coach gets fired after the performance in the Nations League. So
saw that.
The great thing is that they do have years before they really have to like get their play in order, but they're very much still seeing what they have. The issue is the decision, right? Berhalter didn't bring Ricardo Pepi. he brought Jordan Morris instead. The sentimental feeling, right? That this guy's his last ride in the World Cup. Well, you could have made a bigger offensive dent if so. Play the young guys and adapt your style to who you have. Rely on the 35-year-old veteran just because he's never been before. Lots of American players haven't been to a World Cup before. Keaton Parks hasn't been to a World Cup. He's kind of like on the periphery. James Sands hasn't been to a World Cup before. He's kind of on the periphery. So give these guys a shot. Don't just go to the old tried and true because of the old tried and true. You may be impressed and very well have energy. God forbid. U.S. soccer has energy. I don't want to go back to the Taylor Twellman, what the hell are we doing rant? But seriously, what are you doing? You play the young guys. Play the young guys who have energy, joy, who have skill. Make them work for you. Don't try and pigeonhole them into some bullshit system. That got Klinsmann fired. Jurgen Klinsmann is now in, and he's barely hanging on to a job. So this group of kids, and they're still kids, a lot of them, they have an opportunity to do something special here. Don't fuck it up for them. Let them go. BJ Callahan, he plays style. He plays a more aggressive style. But it seems to be playing well. It seems to this particular group. But, we'll see how it goes. At the end of the day, we're still in stages and rosters still need to be finalized.
Are you in need of air care maintenance or service? I have the company for you. Air Care Technicians. They service the Westchester and Northern Bronx area and can help you with all your heating and cooling, maintenance, and service needs. Just give them a call at 914-315-1547. Again, that's 914-315-1547. Or shoot them an email at aircaretechnicians@gmail.com. These guys are the real deal as they are veteran-owned, licensed, and insured. Make sure to tell them that D&Z sent you.
Fair or foul? Judging the more messed up stories of the week. All right, boys and girls, we have a statement. It's either fair. Oh, fair or foul. Number one, the Hornets will do better. Michael Jordan has sold controlling interest in the team.
I think it's fair because they didn't win anything while he was there. There's no championships, no Eastern Conference Finals. I'm not even sure they won a playoff series while he was there. So they can only go up from here. I think if they get the draft right and they make the right moves the next couple of years, the Hornets have a chance to be competitive.
It's absolutely fair. It's fair. But let's be real. But you do have the opportunity to make some moves, right? You have LaMelo Ball. You have Gordon Hayward. Gordon is, his mid-30s.
Dude gets hurt a lot, though.
He does, but at the same time, when he plays, he's still pretty good. You have Oubre. He's a give him that. Rozier, a little bit better, and you have a bunch of other guys on this team, right? You're trying to become relevant, and it's been a while, right? Jordan's owned this team, and good, right? It is not, to say the least, it is not good. You had Steve Clifford, James Borrego. You had Steve. Just they had one appearance. The 2015-2016 season. Clifford was the coach. They lost in the first round. Since then, nope. 36-46, 36-46, 39-43, 23-42, 33-39. James Borrego had a winning season, then they fired him. 43-39, just narrowly missed the bubble, and then just narrowly missed the play-in, and he got kicked out on his ass. And then Clifford, 27-55. So you can't do much worse. You can't. You can't. You need to build around LaMelo Ball, and you need to build around LaMelo Ball quickly. And I think that him being gone, it's only going to accelerate this process. New ownership is going to come in. They're going to want to put their stamp on this team. And I think that they're a greater turnaround than we expect this year. I'm thinking probably like 11, like just another year of just hovering around the and then they're going to strike. Fair or foul? Rob Manfred's comments on the Oakland A's reverse boycott.
So just so everybody knows, they were asking him about the reverse boycott. He came out and said, it was great. It's great to see what is this year almost an average Major League Baseball crowd in the facility for one night. That's a great thing. Yeah, I think it's a fair comment, but Rob, you shouldn't have been saying it. You got to leave that up to other people to say. So I'm going to go with foul. This is not the comments a commissioner should be making.
Oh, God. It's kind of cool. It's kind of asshole. So it's unbelievable. Rob Manfred can be. It's great to see it. It's great to see what is this year almost an average. Blah blah blah. Yeah, it's just that's just you're an idiot.
He needs a PR team.
You're a goddamn idiot. You're a goddamn idiot.
He needs a strong PR team.
He's a goddamn idiot. So it's completely foul. It's completely foul.
He just sounds like a guy that would wave at Stevie Wonder.
He doesn't get it. He does not. Oh, this is a very bad situation, right? This was Dodgers with the McCourts over it. And baseball is burning in East Bay, and you're playing a fiddle, saying how great it is.
You a fiddle.
Absolutely. I just, he just is blinded by the fact that the same day proved the deal. So Oakland's going, and that's more money in his pocket. Like, I get it. I understand. But at the same time, you cannot make that statement when you did. Anyways, and you guys just kicked everybody in the nuts in the goddamn ballpark. There's 27,000 people. That will take you a while. Just boom, right in the nuts. Next, boom, right in the nuts. But what do you expect from this guy? He's a clown. He's been a clown for years. He's ruining baseball, and he continues to ruin baseball. Fair or foul? Number 3, Bob Huggins as men's head basketball coach at Virginia.
Yeah, earlier in it was a couple of months ago, he got caught on the radio talking about Catholics and talking about gay people, and now he gets caught DUI. Yikes. Unfortunately, this is where his career has ended. So yeah, I think it was fair for him to resign. It just stinks it was under the circumstances that they were. He kind of walks out with his tail between his legs, apologizing and feeling bad for all the things he's done the last couple of weeks, and it kind of last couple of months, and it kind of shit out everything he did at West Virginia the last couple of years.
Yeah, I mean the DUI in Pittsburgh, drunk and driving. You had radio show. Like playing.
Yeah.
It's completely fair. Bob Huggins had to go. Now, is his career over? Probably not. Like, that's just how college sports work. Like, I get another job. You smacked the kid. He threw a chair. You smacked the kid. He threw a chair. Bobby Knight got another job. So, if you can coach, you will get another job. Like, that's just college sports. Is it fucked up? Absolutely, it's fucked up. But you know what? That's the nature of the beast. It was the smart decision from a PR standpoint. It was a smart personal decision on Coach Huggins' point. Go get help. Get help for your problems. Seek help and figure out what your stressor is and figure out how you can cope in a better, healthier, because what you is detrimental to your health, to your career, detrimental to your family, completely uncalled for. So hopefully, Coach, you get the help you need and you made the correct decision to move on at this point in time before something worse happened on your watch.
If you want to get on the action, we want to hear from you. Hit us up, faderoutemail@gmail.com. Slide in our DMs on IG at FadeRoutePodcast. Drop us a DM on Twitter at FadeRouteDNZ. Comment on our YouTube channel, The Fade Route with DNZ. Questions, comments, picks, segment suggestions, you name it, we want to hear from you. Get at us, in crowd. The Fade Store presents the Alleged Superstar of the Week Award.
All right. Time it is. It's time for the Alleged Superstar of the Week. Here's how it goes. We have a poll on our Twitter account at FadeRouteDNZ, and you vote, and you vote, and you vote, and you vote. And the winner of said vote gets a shout out on this the coveted ass trophy. And do you know who took the coveted ass trophy last week, D?
I don't.
It is the notorious Conor McGregor for not only first you knocked. That's what we heard about, right? Like, that's what we heard. That was the comedic aspect of what we were doing. And then we hear that you went and sexually assaulted somebody at the same game. Notorious indeed. Notorious asshole. So, that was last week. This is this week. Who are your nominees, D?
All right, first up, I've got the New York Yankees batting order. Since Aaron Judge's injury, they're batting 195. Aaron needs to get back, or Cashman needs to figure things out. New York Yankees batting order, you are my alleged superstar of the week. And number 2, Jair Alexander. When asked about your thoughts on Jordan Love, your response was best quarterback in the league. Sorry, Jair, can you say that in my good ear? I thought you said he was the best quarterback in the league. Jordan Love does not need that pressure. He does not need you to float his boat. Jair Alexander, you are my alleged superstar of the week. And the last one might be surprising to you, but I'm putting Ricky Fowler on here. I mean, dude, you started the U.S. Open you shot at 62. and you finished tied for 5th? What the hell happened, man? Do better, Ricky. Just do better. Ricky Fowler, you're my alleged superstar of the week. What do you got, Zeke?
That sounds about right for Ricky Fowler. He's one of many U.S. golfers that have shown so much promise and ultimately did not deliver at all. We're going to start with Mexican supporters. For the anti-gay chant at U.S. keeper Matt Turner during U.S.'s rout of Mexico, causing an early stop to the match. It was bad enough that the Mexican men's national team was gooning it up on the pitch. Didn't need homophobic chants, the derogatory chants towards Matt Turner. Mexican national supporters, you are of the week. Number 2, Rob Manfred. Need I say? I think I've said my piece on Rob Manfred. Moron. Rob Manfred, you are my of the week. And last but not least, the Atlanta Braves. You heard this one, I'm sure. On Father's Day, Charlie Culberson was his father's pitch. The ceremonial first pitch was going to be Charlie Culberson and his dad. Slight problem. Before the game, they designated Culberson for assignment. You're out. I understand that you want a wholesome moment with your dad. The problem is you suck.
We can't have that many people in the clubhouse.
Nope. Would you look at the time, Harris? You and your Mike, come on, you over here. Oh my! Can you at least sound like Charlie Culberson was gonna play here? Charlie Culberson he's not a great player. He's not even a decent player. Moment and then cut him. I'm not saying don't cut him. I'm saying wait till after the game. Let him have his moment with his dad. My dad died in 26. I had that moment. Let him have his moment. Because you never know when it's going to be your last. Atlanta Braves, you are my alleged superstar of the week. I think we've said our piece on our picks. You guys are going to this week. Our Twitter account at FadeRouteDNZ and vote, and vote, and vote, and vote. And
just do better, boys. Just do better.
Can't help but smile when you see a balloon. The simplest occasion is a party. Westchester Pop Stars, located in New Rochelle, New York, offers balloon styling and decor for all life's events. Birthdays, anniversaries, weddings, showers, school and corporate events, store openings, or just because. Westchester Pop Stars takes balloons and shapes them into works of art, creating decorative installations for your special occasions. No event is too big or too small, and their custom personalization service is top-notch. Westchester Pop Stars is a private studio, quickly expanding. In-person consultation is by appointment only. Send an email to westchesterpopstars@gmail.com for more information or to schedule an appointment. No need to hire an event stylist. All you need is balloons. Currently servicing Westchester, Putnam, New York City, and Connecticut. To find Westchester Pop Stars, search for them on Instagram, Facebook, or Google.
Order up!
we continue our position by position breakdown in Major League Baseball. We are at the hot corner. It is time for us to order up.
Order up, order up.
This bring up our top third Major League Baseball. One. Who you got?
Oh man, some of these guys are really some of my favorite players too. So at number 5, he's the best player on my fantasy team. I've got Max Muncy, leading all third basemen with 18 home runs. Dude could play all the positions on the right side of the infield. He's been hurt recently. He's been striking out a lot, but he's a true baseball player. I got number 5, Max Muncy. At number 4, I got Jose Ramirez. He supplies the wood, switch hitting, third baseman who hits for power. Yes, please. He plays almost every day. He's everything Cleveland's got right now. Number 3, one of my favorite players, Nolan Arenado. Man, dude's a beast. He's a beast on the field and at the plate. He's second amongst third basemen in RBI. I believe he finished second last year in the MVP voting for the National League. Nolan Arenado, good, gritty baseball player. Number 2, Rafa Devers, second to only Ohtani in RBIs in the whole entire league. He's the best weapon the Red Sox have. He's their best player. They kind of banked it on him. They got rid of Mookie. They got rid of all their players, and they figured we can march on with this guy, and they are marching on with him. Oh, number 1. Z, you're gonna be mad at me. I'm taking a homer. Austin Riley.
Shocked.
He's the truth. 6'3", 240 pounds. His numbers are down this year, but man, if I'm starting a team with a third baseman, he's my guy. Z, what do you got?
I'm shocked. And Atlanta Brave is at the top of your list. Oh my God. I just am beside myself. Number 5, I'm going Rafa Devers. Rafa Devers, 796 OPS, 57 ribby, 17 homers. Pretty decent with the glove. Mm-hmm. Not great. Serviceable. Mm-hmm. Serviceable. So he definitely is in the upper echelon for me. And like you said, he's the best player on an team. Number 4.
Who just swept the Yankees.
Yeah. Bad teams. There you go. There's bad team on bad team action. Number 4. Just because his batting average is a little bit better and he's a better fielder. Austin Riley. So 11, 34 ribbies, 260 batting average, 748 OPS. Solid. Really good player. Not number 1, but a really good player. What takes number 3 over the top, because they're very similar, right? They're very similar. What the numbers are just slightly better, and this guy plays ridiculous defense. That would be Matt Chapman of the Toronto Blue Jays. Legit. Platinum glove twice. Not once, but twice. I'm not saying gold glove. I'm saying platinum glove. That was the best defensive player in the majors. Voted twice. He's a 3-time gold glover. So Matt Chapman is a stud. And, he definitely deserves to be on this list. Number 2, another stud, Nolan Arenado. He's single-handedly keeping St. Louis afloat in this terrible, terrible year. I mean, I'm not saying he's doing a great job of it, but
sinking.
That ship is sinking.
Sinking fast.
Marmola's gonna get fired, and Mike Schilt is somewhere. He's just laughing. He is laughing his ass off. You guys wanted me out. This is what you get. Maybe you shouldn't have fired me. I'm just saying. And number 1, because he's the total package, right? And he's a switch hitter. I'm going with Jose Ramirez of the Cleveland Guardians. Only 11 homers, right? Not as many as...
He's your number 1?
My number 1 is Jose Ramirez of the Guardians. So, not as many home runs as Arenado, but stellar defense. He's right up there. 11 homers, 43 ribbies, 285 batting average, 851 OPS. 4-time Silver Slugger, 4-time All-Star. Jose Ramirez is without a doubt a stud. And Cleveland's got a star on their hands, for sure.
This has been the Fade Route with D and Z. Thanks for tuning in tonight. Catch our podcast usually on Wednesday nights on iTunes, iHeartRadio, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcast. So until next time, stay fade, everyone.
Time for us to run the go route, but we'll talk to you next week.
Thanks for listening to this episode of our podcast. If you like what you heard and want to hear more, be sure to like and subscribe on your favorite podcast platform. Rate us 5 stars, leave us a review, turn on subscription notifications, and tell your friends. Spread the word, spread it wide.